On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt and eventually Nick will break down the penultimate episode of Alien Earth. Will there be answers about the season-long plot lines? The dudes will try their best to provide them. They'll also cross things over with Star Wars and will debate if a Jedi could survive a Chestburster embryo. Of course, they'll end the show with Question of the Week responses and the latest round of Top 5 Star Wars fan artist speeches. Punch it, Chewie. Hey now, welcome to the Star Wars Time Show. Sans young Nick, you know how we've been doing it the past few weeks. I start things off, and then my buddy comes in to help me break down Alien Earth, and boy, did we have a fun one this week. Let me go ahead and get that bald head covered up for you people watching the live stream. Don't want to blind anyone and get any complaints filed against the channel for taking people's vision. It's good to see you. Got three of my buddies in here. We got Kramer, we got Divided, we got League. If you ever want to join the SWTS live stream, don't forget. Well, actually, you might need to forget because who the hell knows what the cadence is going to be after next week. But we typically live stream on Wednesdays. These days, 7:30 p. East, or as close as we can get, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. Yeah. All right, everyone. How we doing? Hopefully everyone had a great weekend and a good week of either Star Warsing, aliening, living, being happying. You never know. You never know. You never know. I hope you guys are good. Hey there, Mando Pirate. Welcome to the live. Good to see you, buddy. I like talking to my Discord friends here because I think they're the ones that are going to not force me, but compel me to keep doing lives because, I don't know, I kind of like hanging out with some people on the internet every once in a while. Not in those shady rooms, you know, none of the Chans, but the old SWTS Discord, which we have an open link in the description of this YouTube video if you want to check it out. Hey there, Dom. Good to see you. Dom Thinosaur. I like that. I like Dom Thinosaur. What do we have to say? Xenomorphs have natural psychic defenses and can read minds and feelings, but are simple-minded. Okay. Well, maybe, Dom, you can weigh in on our poll this week. We're also going to be doing a crossover segment after our breakdown and review of Alien Earth Episode 7, Emergence. This week, our crossover is going to be, could a Jedi survive a chestburster? Essentially, could it be impregnated and survive? So we'll debate that. Hey there, country boy in the vertical stream. Good to see you. Dominant Thiosaurus Flex. I like, dude, that's a great handle. Excellent job there. I've never been good at creating internet handles. I know I've told this story before, but since you're new here, I will repeat it. But my first ever handle, I'm an old guy, so this goes way back to Xbox original. My first internet handle, gaming handle, whatever you want to call it, is probably the nerdiest ass handle you could come up with. It was Jedi Baggins 1138. Yep, that's me. And then my email, I have one of the first Gmail accounts. It's Jedi Matt, JEDEYEMATT. So yeah, here we go for the Gen Xers. Country boy, well, we'll be talking a little bit about everything. We got Ask Me Anything coming up. I'm going to review The Long Walk. We'll discuss the new image from Sean Levy from the Starfighter movie. And then we're going to break down and review Alien Earth Episode 7 with a crossover segment questioning, could a Jedi survive a chestburster? So that's what we got going on. Hey there, Sierra. Good to see you. There you go, Dom. I mean, Dom Thinosaurus Flex is a fantastic one. So thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you'll enjoy what we do here. This is a little bit different variation than how we used to do our lives. My partner now has to work late, so I kind of kick things off. Then he comes in and we get going. All right, I like this. We're getting some We're getting some people's first ever gaming handles. I like this here. We'll put that one up there. Slane's High Reaper. All right. My brother was the Shaft. Thanks for the sub there, country boy. All right. Mando Pirate. My first gamer tag was Arizona Lion. Okay. Yeah, League. That is a long one. I don't know what you're saying there. The cat emo Maria, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the Star Wars Time Show. All right, well, since we got some people in here, we got some action going. Meow, 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 meow. I love cats too. It's all good. So here we go. Like I said, we'll do a little Ask Me Anything. We put this prompt out throughout our socials, usually starting on Monday before show. So if you see it, if you're sub, turn your notifications on, leave your question, and I will do my best to answer it. So let's go ahead and see what was asked of me this week. First up, this one coming from my friend League here, and she is asking, any news on Howard Stern? Did he come back? And I know this was kind of spoiled in our Discord, but real quick story, here's what happened. So over the summer, Howard takes a break. A bunch of rumors started that he was getting fired because of Stephen Colbert and Howard's woke or whatever. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to kind of play with this and try to generate some buzz when I do return. So he's supposed to come back September 2nd. He got really ill, had to postpone it a week. And then when he came back on the 8th, Andy Cohen kicked off the show saying that he was taking over for Howard as Andy 100. And then it was revealed that was all a big bit. So Howard's back. I'm happy. But it was all him just kind of playing the media and how media these days just report whatever they want without fact finding, and he capitalized on some free advertising. So there you go. Yeah, that's right. Robert Redford died. So honestly, my favorite Redford movie, we'll just go on a random tangent here, is probably still always going to be The Natural. I loved playing baseball when I was little. My dad introduced me to that movie, and I know it was more of an adult movie, but I loved it. I mean, I still got the theme in my head when he's hitting those home runs. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, the rip Robert Redford. But like I've said before in the show, I don't really care when celebrities die. They're just humans. I mean, I feel bad for their family, but it doesn't really impact my life because they were just someone on TV or movies. So big deal. We got Country Boy asking, how do I feel about the Charlie Kirk getting shot? Listen, you don't want anyone to get shot. I'll leave it at that. It's a hot button subject. People are getting canceled left and right, so I will just leave it at that. It's not cool to shoot people if you disagree with their opinions, all right? That's like third world, backwoods type of stuff. And that's that. We'll leave it at that. It's not really a political show, so I'm sure we can get all sorts of opinions from your TikToks or Instagram or YouTube. But just seeing the discourse around that event, I'm not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole, if you know what I mean. But thanks for asking there, Country Boy. All right, next question coming at me, coming from Scion XTC. 1-on-1, who would win, Harry Potter or Luke Skywalker? Ooh. I mean, I've talked about this before. I do think Harry Potter is more or less Star Wars with magic. I think J.K. definitely lifted a lot of concepts from Star Wars. I mean, Harry Potter is essentially the chosen one. Very similar story to Anakin, except he doesn't, turn to the dark side in full. But I do think mano a mano, Luke is taking out Harry Potter. Luke is definitely taking out Harry Potter. So, I mean... I guess I'll justify Luke being able to dispose of Potter over the fact that Luke also has physical combat prowess, right? He can fight with melee weapons in addition to using magic, aka the Force. And I think the Force overall is probably more powerful and over-encompassing than magic. So I think Luke could make short work of Harry. How about you out there? What are we saying? Yeah, Dom's going with Luke from the live stream chat. All right, that's one for Team Luke. What else we got? Well, we got people talking about Jimmy Kimmel. I didn't even know that was happening. Who knows? For Luke versus Harry, it depends who whines the best about their lot in life. Yeah, that's coming from League of Extraordinary Sixers. But yeah, I mean, Kramer saying Luke, I don't know. I know this is a silly discussion, but this is a silly show. So, hands down, I think Force users could take out magic users from the Harry Potter universe. Anyone want to challenge that opinion? All right, looks like I win here. Dom chiming in, spells would help Harry, but it's just utilitarian. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, Luke essentially has the magic too. I don't know, like, how far can Harry's spells interact with someone's body? I mean, if Luke wanted to, he could crush Harry's guts just with his hand, you know, like Daddy used to do. I'm sure there's a spell, you know, you can just have a spell to kill someone, right? I forget the name of it. But I think when it comes down to it, Luke's physical abilities, meaning his ability to wield a lightsaber or other melee objects, blasters, whatever, gives him the edge over Harry Potter any day. But I do agree with Mando Pirate in the chat here. Luke could definitely outwine Harry as well. I didn't really find Harry to bitch as much as Farm Boy Luke used to. There you go. Abracadabra! That's the killing spell. Thank you there, Dom. Good looking out. All right, next question coming at me for Ask Me Anything. Like I said, if you want to ask a question, sometimes we've got, you can either feed them in the live stream depending on our time, or we put the prompts up on our Instagram, YouTube page, and Discord. So, next question coming from Baron's Black Series. Who do you think will be John Cena's last opponent? All right, so you know, I've recently got back in the WWE. I've more or less been following this entire year from January when it hit Netflix until now. I don't know what I'm going to be doing this weekend with WrestlePalooza being behind a paywall these days because the WWE and TKO are greedy as fuck. But John Cena, he's on his retirement tour, so he's kind of had a who's who of matches throughout this year. I mean, he's gone against RKO, Cody, who else? I think maybe CM Punk possibly he fought, Logan Paul. So Baron's asking, who do I think is going to be his last opponent? I honestly, I mean, The Rock to me makes the most sense because they kind of had a big feud, and The Rock more or less passed the torch to him to be the guy, if you will. But I know The Rock, I mean, he's pretty cut down. I don't know if he's in ring shape like some people are saying on our Discord. The other one, and I don't think he's physically able to, but it would make the most sense for Cena's career or to end his career. It would be Kurt Angle, because I'm pretty sure Cena was introduced back in 2003 or something on SmackDown, and his first fight was against Kurt Angle. So that's what I am. That those are the two, in my opinion, would make the most sense for John's, one last time narrative. But who knows? Who knows? Knowing Triple H these days and some of the story choices he makes, it could be something stupid. Like, I mean, I like Dirty Dom, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he did something like that. So, let's see what we got next. What we got here in the chat? Any questions here? All right. Country Boy, do you think Aaron Rodgers should retire this year? Well, Country Boy, you must have guessed that I'm a Pittsburgh fan. I was born and raised there, and yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers is ready to retire. I mean, he only signed a 1-year deal, so I think he's done. But I think his body is done as well, and he really hasn't been the guy for many years at this point. I know he had the injury, but I mean, with the Jets, he wasn't great. He didn't really have a good last season with Green Bay, so I'm not going to say he's fully washed, but I do think Aaron he should just retire and go on his ayahuasca trips and sit in dark rooms and hang out in tents and stuff. In the end, if he pulls something out of his ass and somehow can beat Mike Tomlin's shitty coaching and win them a playoff game or two, sure, fine, great. But if the opposite happens and he ends up playing poorly and a lot of discord starts taking place in the Steelers locker room and they have a losing season and the critical eye finally gets turned on Mike Tomlin and he might get fired over the next 2, 3, 5 years, that works for me as well. I think the Steelers have bigger issues than a 41-year-old, not as physically gifted as he used to be quarterback, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you're right, Dom. Anything can happen in wrestling these days, so we'll see. But it would be nice to be The Rock or Kurt Angle, but I'm pretty sure Kurt Angle is half dead, so who knows? But I'll probably be missing it because I'm not paying an extra $30 a month just to watch the PLEs these days, now that they're hidden behind the ESPN, whatever the hell that magic app is. So if anyone has any good VPNs they can recommend so I can watch it through Netflix European, let me know. Shoot me a DM, as they say. All right, next question here coming from Kramer, our resident football guru and fanatic. Thoughts on the Steelers and Seahawks game? It was terrible. I mean, what do you think my thoughts are? Going into the fourth quarter, hell, I think there's only 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The game was either tied or the Steelers were down 3, and then within 3 possessions, it was 30-17. Because again, Mike Tomlin sucks at coaching. They have the highest paid defense in the league. The defense has now given up 63 points in 2 games. They've allowed 100-yard rushers over the first 2 games. And then you got special teams where guys don't know the rules of kickoffs. So the game was disgusting, but quite frankly, it's more the same. I'm used to it. This is how the Steelers have been for over a decade now. I just don't think Tomlin has it. Like, he's not the guy. I don't ever think he was the guy. You're never going to hear me talk about Tomlin as being a GOAT. What's so impressive about never having a losing season when you can't win playoff games? What does that mean? What does that mean in a city like Pittsburgh that used to call themselves a city of champions? What does it mean for an organization that has 6 titles? Like, winning seasons doesn't mean shit. It means you get bounced early in the playoffs, embarrassed in the playoffs, and then you get a shitty draft spot. So, there you go. There you go. All right, Kramer always has multiple follow-ups. Can K be the hype man for the channel? Okay, I don't know. Who's K? Unless he meant I. But yeah, sure. We can take as many hype men, hype women as you want. And did I get Borderlands 4? I did not. But I'll tell you what. I've been seeing some gameplay, some streamers out there playing it. If I can find another old person to game with me, I might consider it. I do think Borderlands 4 looks like it has recaptured the essence of the Borderlands franchise, going all the way back to the OG. So it's on my radar, but quite frankly, Kramer, I really haven't gamed all summer. Like an idiot, I've gotten back into reading books, believe it or not. Again, longtime fans, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I probably haven't read books in 13, 15 years, and just one of these days, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try reading again. So I've been going through Isaac Asimov's Foundation series, just to kind of see how much different it is to the excellent show on Apple TV. All right, thanks for your questions, Kramer. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I know, Kramer, you must have missed that announcement last week. I have picked up reading again, like an actual person that has a brain, believe it or not. And it's been fun. I'm not going to lie. I see what you words and shit lovers mean now. Reading is kind of cool. All right, we got our boy Phil asking, if you could cross over Star Wars with any other IP, which one would you choose? All right, I don't want to be lame, because we're talking about Alien Earth tonight, and we've been talking about Alien Earth for the past, month or so, because we're covering that excellent series. But in the end, I really do think Alien or Predator would be good crossovers for Star Wars. It would be fun. It would be different. Let's get away from the big evil Empire threat and bring in another threat like a xenomorph infestation. Even though they're not as intelligent as a Yuzan Vong and shit like that, I think they could introduce a fun new type of story trope in the Star Wars universe if we included aliens, xenomorphs in particular, the drones, the queen, the face huggers, the eggs, all of it. And then, you know what? You might as well loop in the Predators too, because like we revealed many, many years ago, thanks to a Star Wars comic and some Easter eggs, They had a predator mask in a museum, and I still contend it's a xenomorph skull. So they're all a part of the same franchise to begin with. I think Dom Thinosaur has a good call here in Warhammer. I think that'd be interesting because Warhammer, it's very like almost like a religious zealot, almost cult type of setup. But their culture is very warlike. It's focused on kicking ass, taking names. So that could be a fun one too. And their big tank-like armor going around trying to fight Force users. Maybe the galaxy has to band together against the Warhammers. You never know. Country Boy, no. We just stream the YouTube. We're old assholes, so that's why we do it. You know what I mean? Maybe one day. Maybe one day. The cat, thank you. I love just the random keyboard types, just like a cat would be doing if they walked over their keyboard. So I'm all about that. Yeah, the Yautja are hard to fit in Star Wars diplomacy. Yeah, because they don't give a shit. I mean, they're the predators is what he's talking about. They kind of do. Their whole culture is built around becoming a warrior. And it seems like they're more like individual based. Doesn't seem like the Yautja are into big communities and tribes. It's all about you becoming the hunter on your own, proving yourself that you're worthy. That was the whole point of AVP, or even some of the Predator movies we've seen. Where they're kind of sent to that. What was the one? The one with Adrian Brody. I forget the title of that Predator movie, but I mean they essentially had a planet to bring other species to test their hunters. So hey there, owner. I like that. All right, good question there, Phil. Up next, the good friend Divided Sky Walker, aka Abigail Sky, asking, do you prefer summer or fall? It's a great question. I live up here in the north. I'm in boring ass Ohio, Columbus, so we do get 4 seasons. In my older age, I'm definitely off of full on winter unless I'm skiing. And then spring again it's more just kind of extended winter with a few lukewarm days. So yeah, it really does come down to, okay, thank you, Dead Silence. The movie was called Predators. Thank you. I know I just rewatched it, but forgot that stuff. So anyways, do I prefer summer or fall? It's tough because summer is when all like my vacations take place, the ones I really look forward to, going out to the coast a couple times. So, but then you got just the insane heat these days, and I do have a feeling it's only going to get hotter and hotter as the years go on. So I guess I'll go fall, because you could technically say that's when football comes back, American football that is. The weather's still nice, 70s and 80s, but it's not that scorching heat and humidity. So I'll go fall. Even though it where I live, it does tend to get kind of shitty there towards the end of November, December, if you know what I'm talking about. All right. What else we got here? Any more questions? We still got Ask Me Anything. All right. Bango coming in with a question. And this is about Alien Earth. He is asking, do you think we'll ever get a Fassbender Oliphant team up or showdown in a second or later season of Alien Earth, or does the timeline not match up? So here's the deal. What he's talking about is David from the Alien prequel, so Prometheus and Covenant. David, he was the first ever synth created by Peter Wayland, and he kind of goes rogue, ends up hating humans, and he, at least according to Ridley Scott and that canon, he is ultimately the one responsible for creating xenomorphs as we know them from the Alien movie. Like he was on that the engineer planet. He perfected the egg, he perfected the face hugger, and then he perfected, obviously, the burster into a drone. So David was very, he was maniacal there towards the end. He liked to experiment, and he definitely hated humanity. The reason he invented or crafted the xenomorphs was to wipe them out. That was his plan at the end of Covenant. So what Bango's asking is like, would we ever see a team up with David and Kirsch? Kirsch is Timmy Oliphant's character in Alien Earth. So who I've had feelings he is very similar to David, especially after seeing him last night in episode 7, and just what game is that dude playing? He does seem like he's okay letting, humans or even the hybrids get fucked up so he can kind of experiment, watch, sees what happens. He definitely feels like he has an ulterior motive there on Prodigy's Neverland. But I don't think there's ever going to be a team up in the show. Considering how much Alien Earth has kind of discounted or retconned from the prequels, which David is the main star of, I don't see them lining up in Alien Earth. Although Bango's follow-up, the timeline would work. I mean, Alien Earth was in 2104 universe time, and I think, Alien Covenant is 2104. Alien Earth is 2120. So that would line up timeline-wise, but I do not think we're going to get any sort of crossover team-up or something like that in Alien Earth Season 2 if we get one. All right, let me check the chat here. We got some people humming away with questions here. Dead Silence looks like they are replying to our poll this week, saying, Jedi have always typically used the Force to heal. It's mainly been Sith to use dark side to continue to live and cheat death. So no, don't think a Jedi would, but a powerful Sith could. All right. Dead Science is replying to our poll, essentially asking, could a Jedi survive a Chestburster? Dom saying Kirsch was made with freedoms. David had no boundaries. Yeah, Dom's not thinking that they would ever work together. I don't know, Dom. Like, I think Kirsch, I think there's something going on. I don't think he's blindly loyal to Boy Cavalier and Prodigy. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about that more when Nick gets here and we start breaking down the episode, because I definitely want to pick his brain. But Kirsch just feels like he's always had a side hustle, if you will. He's always had something buried in his mechanical mind that he is doing that I think is ultimately going to subvert Boy Cavalier and Prodigy. I mean, maybe he's a Wayland plant for all I know, because he is a full synth, and Wayland Yutani is a company that makes the full synths and the cyborgs, where Prodigy makes the hybrids. All right. Yeah, I could see him trying to prove Cavalier wrong for sure. I could see that, Dom. Damn, we got more questions here. All right, this is coming from, I think, B-Mad. Would you rather fight 20 Wookiees or 40 Ewoks? I'd rather just hang out with both of them. I think both of these species would be fun to chill with, even though, they don't wear any clothes and are full of fur. But, I'm kind of hairy. I could strip down and hang out and talk with the Wookiees, like... And then the Ewoks, we could jam to some yub nub, echuk, yo. So if it came to a fight, I mean, listen, I think even fighting one Wookiee wouldn't go well for a human. They'd just rip our arms and legs off or shoot us with their bowcaster. But even Ewoks, I mean, I guess I would rather be taken out by a horde of Ewoks than 20 Wookiees, if you really need to know. I would definitely like to be taken out by 40 Ewoks. Maybe caught in their net, presented to C-3PO as a sacrifice. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be a nice way to go out, if you will. Dead Silence coming in with a little theory on Alien Earth. I think they're going to nuke the island at the end. If you notice the intro, it looks like a crater in the shape of an island with smoke coming through the rubble. No one getting the Xeno. Yeah, Dead Silence, I'm with you. We've kind of been talking about that all season. Because in the end, Prodigy has to get wiped off the map. Because Prodigy does not exist in Alien Romulus. It doesn't exist in Alien. It doesn't exist in Aliens. And all the way up to Resurrection. So something happens to that corporation, and the fact that they have something that Wayland Yutani wants, and Yutani is willing to do anything. You saw that in episode 7 with her sending Mara and a strike team there. I do believe you're correct. I do think the island, Neverland especially, gets nuked to take out the Xeno and ultimately to take out Prodigy as a whole. Now, I don't know if we'll get that at the end of this season. I don't know if this show is going to go on than more than just one season. It hasn't been called a limited series, so I guess there's always hope. But if they nuke the island, that takes the Prodigy aspect out of that franchise. So what would happen next in season 2? I mean, I guess you could argue then it could focus on Wayland Yutani potentially going after Wendy if she survives, and her Xeno, or at least her powers to communicate and control Xenos. So it's interesting to think about. Oh, okay, Dom, and I'm gonna trust you, Dom. It's saying Alien Earth is a one-off. So without being able to look that up, we're just gonna have to trust Dom Thinosaurus. It feels like it could be a one-off. I wouldn't be overly sad with it being a one-off, because then we're going to get narrative resolution in full next week. But I have enjoyed the franchise. It would not bother me if it continued into another season or a spin-off or something like that. Yeah, dead silence. Boy Cavalier is an easily hateable character. I mean, he's just so smug, and his hubris just drips from him. Anyone else with me on it? It looks like Tio Celis now. The eyeball is probably going to end up being the thing that takes Boy out, and not the xenomorphs or not the hybrids. It's really looking like Boy is sealing his fate by trying to get the eyeball into another human so he can talk to it, so he can have someone as genius as him to communicate with. You know what I mean? All right. What else we got here? Once they lose Earth, it's done. All right. I love it. Some new people in here. Great question. Do you think Mike Gundy should retire soon? Mike Gundy, he's always fun to watch in pressers. I don't know like how his team's doing this year, but he is fun to watch in pressers. He's kind of a colorful college coach that you never know what he's going to say in a press conference. So I kind of dig him for that, if anything. All right. We got League and Dom. They're kind of down with the eye taking out Boy Genius. So we'll see. All right. That's it for Ask Me Anything. Let me see if Nick is on the other line ready to join in here. I do not see him yet, so I'm going to go ahead and keep vamping, as they call it. And that's quite all right, because I got some things to talk about, like a movie starring Luke Skywalker. That's right, people. You heard it here. Checked out Mark Hamill's latest film, The Long Walk, which is a Stephen King novel adaptation. I knew nothing about it going into it. I didn't really know any of the cast, but now I really appreciate them. I mean, I knew Hamill was going to be the major, but I didn't know who any of the boys were going to be, or any of the people making the walk. So like I said, I went in blind to this. No understanding of the source material. And I'll tell you what, coming out of the end of it, I really enjoyed The Long Walk. I did not expect the various emotions that I experienced watching this movie to take place. In fact, one of the leads, and I hate myself because I don't know their name, but if you're on the stream, you can see the poster, the black guy there. I first saw him. He plays Andy in Alien Romulus, and I thought that dude was brilliant in that movie when he played Andy before he got his upgrades, and then Andy with his upgrades. You could tell that dude's got range. He's both a good deliverer of lines, and he's good at the physical performance. And I honestly think he was the all-star of The Long Walk. Him and the lead white guy. This movie, like, it's not a horror movie. I mean, it's definitely a drama. There's some shock to it. I mean, there's just straight up headshots and some gore in it. But when it comes down to it, The Long Walk is really a story about companionship and what that means to humans, and how we all do need somebody, especially as we're facing our impending doom or death. So like I said, it produced a wide range of emotions in me that I was not expecting. I was expecting it to be dramatic, but in kind of a fucked up way. Like, damn, man, they just shot that kid or shot that dude. And yeah, you have that, but it's more emotional than I expected. I might have shed a tear or two close to the end of the episode, if you will, or the end of the movie. So I'm a big fan of the Long Walk movie. I can't really comment on the actual book. I have not read that. Remember, I'm a noob at reading here. So I can recommend The Long Walk. It's worth checking out in theaters if you need a flick to check out. Although this week I think we got Him coming out. It's just that horror movie about football players. So that looks pretty cool. All right. There's some good commentary in the live stream. I'll try to pick it up once Nick gets in here, so I have some time to look at it. But League's asking, what is The Long Walk about? Well, League, I'll try to summarize it the best I can, but essentially I would call it an alt universe Earth, where I believe the Second World War doesn't end the way it ended in our version of Earth. So America is kind of reeling a bit. You know, I mean, it's not having that success after World War II, you know, building up and becoming a world power. So every year they have a lottery for, I believe, men to enter, where they have to walk until they're the last person. There is no finish line. So, I mean, they could walk 10 miles, 100 miles, 300 miles, and the winner is the one that doesn't stop. If you stop walking, you get 3 warnings. On the 3rd warning, you essentially get shot right in the face right there on the street. So to me, I feel like it takes place probably towards the end of the 60s, early 70s in this alt universe Earth. The Major, played by Mark Hamill, he's essentially the overlord of America at this point in time, and he's the one that runs the Long Walk competition. So, you know, I guess there's a little Hunger Games-ness to it, where there's a lottery and you have to, or you don't have to go. I mean, you can choose to not participate. But the idea is if you win the Long Walk, if you survive the Long Walk, you instantly become rich and wealthy, and you get one wish. You can wish anything of the Major, and he has to grant it to you. So that's what it's about. It's pretty fun to check out. Yeah, Mando Pirate in the live stream chat is saying, has anyone seen the videos of the theaters that had treadmills that you had to walk on? Yeah, I heard that was a thing, and if you stopped, you got kicked out of the movie. I did not watch it that way, Mando Pirate, because, yeah, I want to watch the movie, if you know what I mean. All right, still no young Nick. So, hey there, the cat emo Maria. Glad to see you're still typing away. The kitty is. We appreciate that. So there you go. That's The Long Walk. Up next, this literally just dropped this afternoon. We've got the, I guess I would call it the second official set pick from Sean Levi or Levy's Starfighter film. So Star Wars Starfighter, the one starring Ryan Gosling. And, you know, we got, okay, Nick is here. So let me bring him in real quick, and then we'll continue this conversation here. Heyo, young Nick. Welcome to the Star Wars Time Show.
Hello.
Right, there he is.
Glad to be here.
All right, just in time. I was just about ready to hit this last news item, and then we can get into Alien Earth. I know you're working all day for the man. I'm not sure if you saw the new set pick from the Starfighter movie, but Sean Levi released it today. I don't know if it doesn't really give us much to go on, Nick, but we got Ryan Gosling and his co-star Flynn Gray. They seem to be on some sort of skiff on the ocean. It reminds me very much of the craft that we saw in Kevin Costner's Waterworld, you know, with like those hand cranks and shit. Yep. But I don't know, man. Do you think they're lost at sea, or do they make their living at sea? Do you think Ryan and this Flynn Gray character are father and son, or is it more like the kid was put in a situation to where now Ryan's character has to take care of him? Are they marooned? Is this daily life? I don't know. I mean, like I said, there's not much to go on here, but what do you think of this image?
Given the way that they look, it almost looks like they may have like be stranded, like you said, marooned.
Yeah, Gosling looks a little beat up. He looks a little beat up.
Yeah, like they crashed maybe, and the ship is not usable, so they have to figure out a way to get out of there. And they're like, well, man, just make a skiff, and you know, we gotta make it to that piece of land over there that we can see, but we gotta get there with this little raft or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just the fact that we're getting drips like this, it makes me happy because it confirms, yeah, Star Wars fans, you are gonna have a movie in 26, Mando and Grogu, and you're gonna have a movie in 27, Starfighter. So the fact that Sean keeps dripping these out, not really revealing much of anything outside of what the characters look like, what they're wearing. I mean, Gosling, dude, look at that. His pants are. It almost looks like he's wearing space chaps, but some of the material is very Darth Vader pant like, kind of like that rubber
Yeah.
or puffy foam
Yeah,
type
like
of type
almost
action.
like almost kind of like vinyl. If you ever had a an old car that had vinyl seats, like that like
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
rubberish kind of like leatherish material, it almost looks like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows? It definitely looks like these two are little worse for wear. Um, they're on a skiff in the middle of the ocean. I guess they're shooting in the Mediterranean right now. You can see a camera rig kind of underneath Flynn there in the background. But I don't know. I
Yep.
mean, I hate making this comparison, but it feels kind of Mad Max Waterworld ish. Like maybe these two are just
Yeah.
survivors somewhere. Maybe it's a planet that's been decimated and they're just surviving. I mean, we technically don't even know where this is in the timeline outside of it takes place beyond the sequel trilogy. Is it just a few
hmm
years? Is it 50, 100, 1,000? Who knows? That's why I'm intrigued by
Yeah.
this film. And of course, Gosling, he's Gosling. He looks like a dude, and this Flynn Gray definitely looks like an interesting character as well. So just wanted to share that with everyone. Like Mando Pirate saying in the chat here, it's crazy we're getting actual stills from Star Wars movie sets again. Yeah, it is. I mean, think about, like, for people like Nick and I that more or less started this dumbass show to talk about Disney taking Star Wars over and producing content. We thought we were always going to be doing that, but then we had the Rise of Skywalker and all the other shit in the sequel trilogy, and Solo failing at the box office, and Lucasfilm completely pivoted. Stopped making movies. I mean, we have not had a Star Wars movie since 2019. 2019. That's crazy to think. It went TV, and now it's abandoning TV and going back to films. What the hell are they doing over there? I don't think anyone knows, but hey, we're here to cover it. It is nice to be talking about Star Wars movie stills for the first time in what, 5-6 years, right, Nick? Probably more than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, since we got stills, yeah, I mean, 5 years, yeah, probably 5 years or so. So it's interesting. I mean, obviously we're now moving into hopefully an era where we'll have more regular film releases and we get a little bit less TV. I think that that's a healthier mix. But we'll see how these do. I have a feeling that Starfighter will do well. I think that there's not a lot of baggage that comes along with Starfighter in terms of
True.
other characters from different different properties or different sagas or from the original Skywalker saga or whatever. Like, you're not going to have characters that are really mixed up in there. You don't have a timeline that's bogged down with a bunch of other content that you need to worry about bumping into. This is kind of, an ideal situation for Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling to have, is like all you have behind you, like everything is behind you in terms of the timeline and nothing is in front of you. So you can set precedent, you can
Right.
make up new stories. You're not relying on what other people are doing. So I'm really interested to see how this turns out. And I have a lot of faith in Levy and Gosling. I think they're good creatives and they're going to put out something pretty strong.
Heard. Yeah, I'm with you. I think this one, and I'm kind of a sucker for Mando and Grogu just because, hey, they're Mando and Grogu. But Starfighter has potential to maybe even entertain more than that because, as Nick said,
Yeah.
it's almost going to feel like brand new IP, even though it's set in the Star Wars universe. So I think that's Nick. I got to introduce you to the cat emo Maria. They've been in here since the beginning, and the way they communicate is through the cat walking on the keyboard. So that's why
Nice.
you're getting all these excellent live stream messages. So thank you again to cat emo Maria. We also got a great new handle in here called Dom Phinosaurus Flex.
I
So
see that. I see
that's
that.
been pretty excellent too. All right, man. Now that you're here, it's time to get down to the nitty gritty, the meat of this episode of SWTS. Yes, it's number 371. We do this shit too much. That's why we'll be slowing down after next week. But it's time to get down with Alien Earth S1 E7 Emergence. You know how we do it over here. We'll both kind of give our opinions, our review. Then we'll dive into the meat of the episode, ask the questions hopefully you've been asking yourself or searching the internet for, and we'll try to provide our dumbest of responses. So, Nick, while I'm getting the slideshow up and running, why don't you go ahead and pop off on last night's episode of Alien Earth?
Yeah, I mean, this one was an interesting one. Obviously, we're now starting to see the true intentions of both Morrow and the Yutani side of things, and then Prodigy, and specifically the hybrids within Prodigy. I think that's where the majority of the story in this episode lied, obviously, with with Slightly and them going off
weekend at Arthur's with those two, man. I mean, yeah. I know what they were doing was fucked up, but that when they finally got out to the forest, I was like, man, these two are sort of cracking me up, even though they're doing something super evil.
Yeah, I mean, it's and the thing is like they truly have no fucking clue what they're doing. Like they're this
kids.
Is like
they are kids.
It's two 11-year-olds that are like carrying a body out that they have no fucking clue what happened to them. Like that's literally what's happening. And they had no idea what Morrow wanted or what Yutani wanted. So like when the fucking Chestburster pops out and runs away, they're like, well, just bring the body. Like that's what he wanted.
Like ah!
Yeah, like they're like, all right, well, just bring this over there. So that was an interesting storyline. Obviously, that gives us a little bit more information on like Kirsch and how he was treating the kids and like what his ultimate goal was, because he knew, he's like, these fucking idiots don't know what they're doing. Like, yeah. Like give them the fast way out, and then and then Yutani and well, like the Yutani group and Morrow are going to come in and try to invade in. We're just going to be ready for them. We know exactly where they're coming from.
Yeah, we definitely will dive into that. So go ahead and kind of keep talking about how you felt about the episode. But I'm with you too. Kirsch to me is everything about this franchise at this point in time. But more on that in a minute.
So good stuff on that one. And then obviously we have now gone into full dog mode with the Xenos and Marcy. Like Marcy and well, what's it?
Nibs.
The redheads? Nibs. Yeah. Like they can literally just like command this thing to do whatever they want.
Okay.
Like
I hate to stop you again, but I'm with you too. I wrote that down and I actually rewatched that scene again today just to confirm. But here's how it happened. Nibs does kind of make a hiss. It's kind of like a but then you hear like the the real cricking and hissing, and I believe that was coming from the drone up in the tree, and then that's when Wendy gives the Swahili and it comes down and screws things up. But you too felt like Nibs was almost mimicking what she was potentially hearing from the drone in the tree, or just maybe she heard it from Wendy at some point in time. But it did sound as soon as she saw those Wayland Yutani soldiers, she was like, I was like, whoa, what the fuck, Nibs?
Yeah, I mean, the hiss was definitely like, that was just like, again, like a little kid when they're like presented with something that they don't know. Like kids will they'll like hiss or bark or something like that. They're understanding, they're learning about their environment, and they're mimicking things that they see. So Nibs was definitely like, even after the mind wipe, is still fucked in the head. And then Marcy, yeah, I mean, watching how she interacts with these creatures has been really interesting. So that story.
Hold on, the cat has subbed to the channel. Thank you, Cat Emo Maria and the cat. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Speak your name.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. Like this episode was definitely interesting. Was it like super high action? In some parts it was. Obviously the parts where the Xeno comes through and just rips apart all of the Yutani soldiers that they run into in the forest, and then towards the end when we get on the boat, but yeah, I mean, I thought that this show was, or this episode was pretty good. It sets up an interesting finale, right? And I think it does lead me to believe that there is probably at least a second season planned, right? Like it
Well,
seems like there's no.
Our new buddy Dom said that this is was planned as a one-off. So
That's
I don't know if that
interesting.
can
I mean,
change. I mean, maybe we'll be better informed last week. Like if it's a bow tie ending, then yeah, maybe it is. But if there's some loose threads, you would think that was Noah going like, "Hey, yeah, I know we only signed a deal for a season, but if we want to go somewhere, I've got some pokers in the fire."
yeah, I mean, I will say that like if the show ends next where they're just gonna um yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows? I can see this going another season. I can see this ending after the next one, but it does feel like there would need to be a lot of expediency to end things in a way that would be like, okay, well, this is the end of the story for Alien Earth. So I mean, we'll see, but it does seem like there's a lot of story left to tell at the very least with Cavalier and Utani and everything else
Yeah.
that's kind of circling that those two
Yeah,
factions.
I hope they wrap these major plot threads for sure. I mean, if it was just a, hey, this is Alien Earth season 1, this is a story we're telling, then season 2 it's going to be a different story, I'd be fine with that too. All right, so I'm kind of with you. I love this episode. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like the pieces on the narrative board moved much, but there was enough kind of raucousness and just chaos taking place on Neverland that it was super exciting. The pieces have been moved into position for the finale. I mean, we ended on a cliffhanger. Hopefully, it just comes right back to that boat scene to see what Wendy ultimately decides to do with her dumbass brother and the Prodigy security forces. We know her little Fido is in the woods waiting for her to make the clicks. But we know Boy, he's going off kind of doing his thing with Tio Celis. What happened to Nibs? Is she truly dead? Is she out? Will she be able to be recovered? And what the hell is Kirsch up to? So I love the episode. I really did. Even though it was the shortest one of the season, it was packed full of good storytelling. It really was. Even though nothing really happened to finish any of the threads, they just kept building, and hopefully we get that payoff next week. But to me, coming out of this episode, Nick, I was like, Kirsch is everything. Like, he is the intrigue. He is the mystery. What is this dude up to? Because, I mean, think about what he's done really over the full season, but just the last 2 episodes. I mean, he knowingly let Toodles and Slightly fuck with the lab and get all that shit popped off. Then when he gets back, like you just mentioned, he helps Slightly and Smee to smuggle the body out. He clearly already had stuff set up to capture the Chestburster. I mean, when I saw that net come out, I was like, damn, was that Waylon Utani that got it like that? Or was that potentially Kirsch already had that trap set? And lo and behold, it was him. It almost feels like this was all part of the plan to capture Morrow. But is he doing it for Prodigy, or is he doing it for some ulterior motive that has not been revealed to us yet? Because on the surface, by the end, you're like, hey, Kirsch, he's kind of doing what he's doing for the Overlord, for Boy Genius. But deep down, I don't think that's his end game. I don't think his end game is to serve Boy and make him happy. I think it's to serve some purpose that's either programmed within him or that he has awakened himself, kind of like David in the Alien prequels. So I guess, I mean, to me, this is the one thing I really wanted to get into with you. So what the hell do you think what's going on with Kirsch? What is his end game, in your opinion?
For me, it seems like it is like Kirsch is not doing this for Cavalier. Like Kirsch is doing like what Kirsch did tomorrow, and like the activation, like bringing out all the soldiers, capturing them, is essentially to keep these creatures in his/their possession, because if he doesn't have them, then he can't use them to whatever you know, end goal he may have. Like, I think that ultimately at this point, Kirsch is now kind of operating in a way that seems like it's fine for Prodigy. And if you look at it, he seems like he's doing everything for
Nailing it.
Prodigy, right?
He's
It's like
nailing it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
He's
like
giving Boy
he
everything he
stopped.
wants, right? And gives Boy
Yeah,
everything he wants.
it's like, here you go, like you got your specimens now. I stopped the Yutani and Moro invasion from coming in and stealing everything. Like we're all good. Like everything seems like it's on the up and up, and like he's functioning in a way that like Cavalier's like probably pretty happy with what he's doing. And then but ultimately like he is going to be able to have more control over these creatures than Cavalier will, because of the fact that he is a synthetic and he's not in danger of being killed by it. And if he's learned anything from and this is another thing that I wonder, it's like I wonder if he is like learning things from Marcy, like
Oh yeah.
understanding how Marcy is able to communicate with these creatures, and then he ultimately tries to replicate it or something like that.
Well, Nick, remember when
Um,
Boy's like, all right, hybrids banned from the lab, and Kirsch is like, no, 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 except Wendy, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, yeah, she
yeah,
can still come in. So I think, yeah, you're on to something there. He has picked up on whatever whatever skill she has developed. I don't think it's a
yeah,
telepathic bond. I do think it's just communication at this point. But that
yeah,
intrigues him greatly because and that's, we can talk about that next, but she, for the first time ever, at least from what I've watched in Alien, she has tamed a drone. Like literally
yeah.
can control a drone with the snap of her finger.
And not even just like, don't attack me. Like she can she can tell it like, don't attack my brother. Like,
Right.
cause her brother was standing, like Joe was standing right there. And like,
Well, you notice
usually
when
that
he
thing,
started to put his arm on her, like, oh, back up. She's like, get the fuck away. Like, do not let this thing think that you are trying to put your hands on me, because as much as we like to talk and we've had our chats at night in the lab, he gets a little angry sometimes when mom is being threatened.
yeah. So it's just interesting to see how she can literally direct it to attack certain things. She can like protect other organics, like other human beings, from being attacked by it. I mean, it's like, again, like I don't have a ton of knowledge of the alien universe. Like I've seen all the only one that I haven't seen is Romulus. I do have it on DVD, or not DVD. I
I
have it
just
on the
watched
digital,
it
but I haven't
last
watched it
night.
yet.
It's still a damn good alien movie. I mean, it's one of the most recent, but it's pretty freaking good
Yeah.
for not having Ripley and stuff in it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Dom is saying xenomorphs actually have a telepathic bond, but only to organics. They cannot read automatons. I guess that kind of makes sense. I mean, at least within their hive. I mean, they clearly, to me, have a hive mentality. I mean, it's not like, the movies we saw where there is a nest, Romulus being one, aliens being another. It does seem like they can organize and strategize and attack in groups. So, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm really interested to see like how far this bond goes. Like, is it just with this one? Are we ever going to see more? Like, will she also be able to have this same level of communication with the one that like that busted out of Arthur? And like, if
Right.
that grows, will she be able to do the same thing? Because like, essentially this one that she's able to communicate with and like dictate its behavior to a certain degree is the one that she bonded with when it was an infant. And like we also saw that the one that was originally on the Maginot that got out didn't give a fuck about her, attacked her straight up, and she killed it. So like
It's a very
I
good point, because I do think that the emergence bonding, right when it came out of her brother's lung, and it lunged at her initially, but once she started coo-cooing it, you could tell it was almost like an instant bond, right, Nick? Like a puppy
Mhm.
to their mother. So yeah, that is a good point. I mean, the fact that she can communicate and has one under her control, you would think she could have her pet vouch for her, if you will. Like, hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
and the other one
All
would be
right.
like, all right, cool, I'm not going to eat her. Who can I eat, or who can I take back to a nest? So I don't know. Like we can spend some time on this. What do you like the idea that Noah and his team have essentially softened a xenomorph. Like I mean, Nick, do you as a pet lover or whatever, do you almost kind of have emotions for this drone at this point in time? Like you kind of are rooting for it. Like it's not
No,
the bad guy. No, it's still an
no.
evil,
I mean,
brainless killing
it's
machine.
yeah. I mean, like, is it acting in a way that's different than every other one that we have seen or interacted with or been exposed to in any Alien franchise before? Yeah, it's definitely acting different, but like it's still ultimately like I don't think of the xenomorph as like a feeling type of creature. And I don't think
But he
that
loves
there is
Wendy, man.
a
He loves her. Right. Follow. Would she say? Follow and what is it?
yeah,
What was,
follow and hide and follow,
yeah,
hide
yeah,
and
yeah. There you
follow,
go. There you
because
go.
yeah, hide and follow. But it's like ultimately, it's like do I like? And the thing is about Wendy is like Wendy, like what, in my opinion, what Joe did on the boat was the right thing to do. Like his sister and this and Nibs were getting ready to just unleash this thing
Oh
on
no, I'm all about it.
human
Fuck
beings again,
Prodigy.
like just
Fuck
kill
him.
them all. Like they are they like Wendy has gotten to a point now to where it's like I understand why Joe is turning against her, because she's an 11-year-old that now has
What
the
did you
ability to kill whoever she
do?
wants. Yeah, like she can now, with her own body and with a literal killing machine attached to her side, can kill whoever she wants, but she doesn't have the mental capacity to understand what she's doing. Like she doesn't really, like she's just like, you're not doing what I want you to do, or you're in my way, so I'm going to kill you. And it's like that's just not okay for to do with anybody. Like so do I have feelings, or do I think that the xenomorph is like a altruistic being that's working on behalf of Wendy to help save her from Prodigy? No, I think it's like it
Yeah.
heard something that it related to, and it also has a feeling that this, like, I can't kill this girl because it doesn't have meat parts. So it's like I'm just gonna like I'll
I
kill
think
the
it loves
things
her,
with meat
man.
parts.
I think it loves her like a dog. See, well, I'm on the complete opposite spectrum than you. I'm team hybrids and xenomorphs at this point in time, because Prodigy and all of its employees are absolute pukes. I mean, I guess the soldiers, they're just kind of ground troops. They don't really have a say. But they're working for an evil, massive corporation. Look what they like. The hybrids themselves were essentially little kids that were ripped from their bodies and put into an experiment. And the way they treat them now, they erase their memories. They let them walk into this lab and watch them essentially get melted by alien flies. And quite frankly, my last note from last night's episode is fuck Hermit. Can't wait. Like I want his sister to turn on him. I want his sister to call that Xeno to the dock to eat everyone. And my God, was it glorious to see Nibs, after that dickhead threw her little stuffed animal into the water, rip his chin off. I mean, that was fucking awesome. And then she's just like ripping guts from everyone. So we're gonna have to be on different sides of this line here when it comes to the characters of Earth. You can be team Joe and Hermit. I'm going team Wendy and Drone. I'm totally rooting for them to enact as much wanton destruction as they can next week in the finale.
Yeah, I think like for me, when like these kids are, like Wendy in particular is just like, it's hard to look at them as human anymore. Like they're not human, but like they had a human brain that was kind of sent over to a body, like a synthetic body. And I think that now, like they're obviously hybrids, they're not human, but I think that they have lost the, like, they're soon going to lose the ability to empathize, because empathy is based purely off of the notion that you can understand what another being is feeling, or you can understand like why something, or like why somebody is affected by something, and they just don't have the ability to do that anymore. And when you lose the ability to empathize, you lose the ability to interact in a human way with the people around you. So now they have just turned into like like they're just going to turn into more violent synthetics is basically what's going to happen.
Sweet. Let's go. Let's bring on the war. Robots versus machines, man. Why not? Robots with aliens versus humans. I would watch that any day and just, let's scorched earth this shit. All right. Yeah, like I said, I still think the curse thing is what I'm most intrigued in. As much as I enjoy what Wendy and her pet are up to me, the meat of this series right now is finding out Kirsch's endgame. I mean, that whole end around, was it just to catch Morrow, Nick, or was he trying to get in good with someone? Was it just to capture the Chestburster because he wants to keep studying and knows whoever has the specimens essentially has the keys to the kingdom? It just, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to find out that, and this would never happen. I mean, this is like way out nerd theory, but we've talked about like somehow David was able to broadcast out to other synthetics and potentially unlock their programming like his, and Kirsch is one of his agents on Earth. That to me would be the most exciting. I think it's the most far-fetched. I mean, ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if Kirsch is just a plant by Wayland Yutani, and he doesn't even necessarily know that he is. He's compelled to do what he's doing. I don't think it was just a pissing match between him and Morrow. I mean, I think Kirsch truly had this all planned out. He knew exactly how to play Smee and Slightly. He knew exactly what they would fuck up. He knew exactly where to get the burster. So, I don't know. Don't sleep on Kirsch. I know the focus is on the alien and Wendy. She's supposedly the main character. But when it comes down to it, like I said, Kirsch to me has the most intrigue. All right, some other things to talk about here. I did love when Wendy was in the lab and they were explaining the Toodles and Zed and she should keep her mouth shut and they weren't going to let her leave. She just goes like, and the Xeno instantly is like, all right, motherfuckers, you want to mess with my mommy? Curly still is a loyalist. It's not clear if she is going to rat them out to Dame Sylvia. She just kind of rolled over there and needed a mommy hug, but Curly definitely is the one that is most dedicated to the notion of Prodigy being her overlord. Initially, Nick, when she lets the Xeno out, do you think it was ultimately for a distraction, or do you think it was to save him? What was her ultimate goal there? To provide a distraction for their escape, or to save it?
I mean, I think that she knew she could use it. And I think that she also, I don't think it was to save it or to create a distraction. I think she also just wanted to bring the pain to those people. Like, she has now gotten to the point where she's like, I want to get out of here. Everybody should get out of here. Fuck everybody in that building and what you've done to us.
Okay.
So I think it was literally for like, this is comeuppance for you. Like, you guys are all going to get, like whacked, and then I'm gonna have my cool friend again. So I think it was a bit of both. Like, obviously, not as much of a distraction as just a massacre, but yeah, I mean, I think she knows that this thing is gonna listen to her, and she knows that if this thing is at her side, she's already unstoppable. Like, it's damn near like you have to have very specialized weaponry to take these things out. And like, even if you do have the specialized weaponry now, she has a drone on her side that can jump on you from fucking who knows where. So it just makes her even that much more dangerous.
Yeah, I dig this version of Wendy. I do kind of like the woman scorned look that she's going with here. Picking up with some of the other hybrids, and we talked a little bit about Smee and Slightly and how slapdicky they were. You are right. I mean, it's two 11-year-olds trying to pull off a kidnapping that just so happens to have a face hugger on it, and they have no clue what that means. So that was all fun. But, I mean, deep down, Nick, did you ultimately feel really bad for Smee? I mean, he kind of got fucked over by his buddy. He had no clue what he was getting into. and you could tell he was absolutely devastated at what happened to Arthur, who by the way, rest in peace, my man. I think Arthur had probably the most emotional death in the entire Alien franchise at this point in time. Like, that poor man got fucked over by his creations, who were kids, who he was caring for and wanted to help, even until that thing was popping out of his chest. And then, of course, he dies horrifically there on the beach. But it's just like, poor Arthur, man, and then poor Smee. Those are, you typically don't, at least I'm talking about me, you don't have these types of emotions when you watch an Alien movie, because you're usually on edge. You're like, oh shit, what hole are they coming out of? Or, oh no, don't kill that guy. But this show has managed to weave in actual emotions. These characters, you kind of feel for them. You understand what they're trying to do, what they're going through. And poor Arthur, up until the end, was like, listen, boys, I know you're lying. You're kids. You don't know how to do it. Whatever you did, it's okay. I'll forgive you. In fact, I will help you. And then they watch him just brutally die, and it just breaks me. It's like, man, why'd you do that to me slightly? Like, what's up, man? You lied to me. You lied to me. So I've always, we brought this up last week. Smee is the one hybrid that always reminds us right in our faces that they are just kids. They are not advanced emotionally. Their intelligence is limited, even though they are supercomputers and they can kind of pick up on that type of stuff. But in terms of social cues and just how to behave and interact with adults, they're childlike, and Smee really kind of brings that to life in this show.
Yeah, I definitely feel bad for him. He was just like essentially trying to help his friend, and obviously didn't know what was going on with Arthur even when he saw the face hugger on him, because why would you? This is the first time that anybody on this planet has ever interacted, at least as far as we know.
It's like, what are we doing out here? It's like, oh, there was a leak in the lab and we brought you out. It's like just seeing them try to lie was hilarious, because it was very childlike. Even adults, it's you got to be a really lying sack of shit to get good at it. If you're inherently a good person, even though you know how to navigate lies better as an older human, it still makes you feel like crap. You gotta mask that as you're delivering the lie. So, other things. When it comes down to it, Nick, who do you want to win here? I think we know, because Prodigy does not exist in most of Prime Alien canon. But let's just say, from the standpoints of their representative characters, Morrow, who is ice cold as fuck, like just ice cold. He's ice cold. The way he did Slightly and the kids there. And then I'm gonna say Kirsch, because I do think Kirsch ultimately is leading the main plot with Prodigy. So which one would you like to see come out on top?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because there's there's no good choice regard. It's literally the old movie tagline: no matter who wins, we lose. Like, that's just what it comes down to. Like,
well, Morrow is more human, I guess. He is just a cyborg. He's not full on machine.
So, but Morrow is just like, Morrow is human in a way that, like, he has the ability to have loyalty, but because his loyalty is just firmly planted in the Yutani realm, and he really doesn't give a fuck about the destruction that these creatures can wreak across, like, society. He's seen it happen firsthand, and he's still like, yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna bring him to this woman and she's gonna do the right thing about it. So he's just like dumb as fuck, or he's just loyal to a point to where he's like, I don't really give a fuck what happens if they get him or not. I'm gonna do it because this lady helped me. So, loyalty. But then also, like, on Kirsch's side, like, the confusing thing to him is, like, Morrow is easy to figure out. Like, he has no like moral compass about, like, these creatures. He's just like, this lady asked me to bring it to him. That's what I'm doing. Like,
everything for the corporation. Like Dom's saying, he's a true Wayland Yutani guy. Just like Ash, just like Rook. They'll do anything for the corporation.
Yeah, he is a good soldiers follow orders kind of dude. Like he can see the atrocities happening right in front of him and not have any fucking care about it. So he's just like very, very like he's very easy to figure out. Kirsch is just like is the mystery, like you were saying, is like what is his motivation? Like, is his motivation the same as David, as we've kind of been speculating from the beginning? Is like, is are all synthetics generally predispositioned in a way where they just want to eventually overtake humanity via whatever means necessary, and
Right.
they view xenomorphs, the creation of one of their own, David, as the prime way to do this. So in that respect, I'm kind like you kind of have to lean more towards Morrow, because his ultimate goal is to not destroy all of humanity, where Kirsch's is probably to do that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, man, I'm loving how Timmy's playing this character, though. I think Oliphant is just doing a
Yeah.
fantastic job as Kirsch. I've said it a million times. I mean, he to me he's the bread and butter now. I mean, yeah, we love the aliens and what they can do. Wendy's kind of fun, but Kirsch is the man of mystery. I think we got an answer to one of our questions we've been asking all season, though, Nick. We heard Boy Cavalier reference the mold scrubbers. The mold scrubbers. So I think those are the people in those rubber suits going through. Yeah. It must be, I mean, I'm guessing the lab, maybe it's underground. It's already in a tropical island, so they must have mold problems, and that's why those guys were there scrubbing that shit off the walls. So not as exciting as we thought. They are nothing but mold scrubbers. Actually, he mentions, he's like, we should jam the eye into a mold scrubber, because they're brainless anyways. Let's see how intelligent Teocelis can actually make them. And I guess that's my last little talking point before we move into the crossover here, my friend. Sheepball, as we call him over here.
Yep.
Again, got some prime storytelling in this episode. Confirmed through Kirsch and Boy that he orchestrated the whole lab disaster, and that Boy was impressed by that and had him moved up to his office so they could have a chat. And it was proved once and for all that the eye, Teocelis, is a highly intelligent being. And I love that they explain that through Boy saying, listen, if you understand what pi is, that is true sign of intelligent life. And sure as shit, it could, it was tapping out the numbers. So,
yep.
My question to you, now that Boy is absolutely intoxicated with the sheep, it feels like he's completely off the hybrids and them becoming his talking partner because he's so freaking smart. He wants to, take the Teocelis even further. What human do you think he has in mind? I've got 3. I want to see who you went with, because he's talking to Adam like, hey, we need to find a human to put this in so I can actually talk to it. Clearly a big mistake, and I think it was before you got here. Do you agree that Boy is actually going to die at the hands of the eyeball at this point versus his creations or a Xeno?
I mean, if Noah Hawley has a sense of irony, then yes. And like that's kind of where the story is leading to, right? Like all of the all of the external threats within the lab are kind of like now recontained. If the Xeno was still there, you would have to question that, but it's gone now. So yeah, I mean, clearly what's going to happen is like he has a level of hubris where he's just like, oh well, I'll just like put
outsmart it.
a human, like I'll just put a human by it that I wanted to inhabit, and then it'll just do what I want it to do. Like it'll just inhabit that thing. But this thing is clearly intelligent. It clearly has an understand. Like every time you ever hear about like how we would communicate with aliens, it's always through math. Clearly that's the method that he used, and knowing pi, like you said, is a very high level concept when it comes to like understanding of greater life and everything like that. So ultimately he's going to get outsmarted by this fucking eyeball, and then he's going to be the fucking eyeball host.
Yeah, I think it kills him either way, but who do you think Boy has in mind? Do you have any candidates off the top of your head? I've got 3.
I mean, I think it's Sylvia
Yeah, the
initially.
dame. Okay,
Yeah,
that was
like,
one I had.
and then
The other one. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, for me, I'm trying to remember like the other, like Sylvia is the only other human that's in the Prodigy
But
lab, right? That we actually know
well,
their name.
they're all still on the island, so pretty much any human still on the table. I guess I'd say that we've met.
Yeah, like a lot of the people that are in the lab now are dead, and that were human. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's either Sylvia or Utani, and the Utani angle is like, oh, bring her back in for negotiations, and then like show be like, look, I'll show you that the specimens are still here, they're safe, everything is copacetic, and then unlocks it, boom, and like his idea is like
Interesting.
this thing will go for her.
All right. So here were mine. I agree with you. I had Dame Sylvia as one. The other one that I think is probably going to be the candidate, and Dom's kind of he might have seen like behind the scenes that might confirm this, but it's Hermit. Like, boy already hates Hermit. Hermit's tried to escape. He's going to be captured at this point. So he makes a pretty good candidate to have the eye jump into. And the third one, probably a long shot, but sort of in the same vein as what you're saying, Moro. Why not
Yeah,
punish the enemy? But he's a cyborg, so would T.S. Celis want to interface with that, or could he interface with that? We don't.
yeah,
As of right now, we don't think the eye can take over an inorganic being like Kirsch or the
or
hybrids.
the
We don't know
hybrids,
for
anything.
sure, but it doesn't seem likely. So
Yeah,
I think Hermit is number one. Then I'd go Dame because she's got some beef with Boy right now, and then my long shot guess would be Moro. Utani would be
yeah,
great. I don't think that's going to happen because she's
no,
the overlord of the corporation and essentially the planet. But yeah, Hermit to me
yeah.
seems like he kind of earned himself this trip now that he just tried to escape and got caught.
Yeah, so, I could see that. I don't know if and the question is, like, because we don't really know a whole lot about this creature, right? Like, clearly it has a brain within its within the unit itself, right? Like, unless it
Oh yeah,
takes
no.
over.
All its intelligence is the eye. I think it just
Yeah,
takes over
exactly.
host. Like it can take over bodies and control
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, so, like, it doesn't need somebody, like, an exceptionally smart person to, like, be able to use its full capacity. Essentially, it just needs a body that it can communicate with. The
Yeah.
funny thing to me is that, like,
When
um,
it took a shit trying to count out
that
pi.
yeah, that was funny. But, like, the funny thing to me is that, like, but it's also, again, it's just hubris where it's just like like Cavalier really thinks that he can just like put something in front of this thing and that it's going to do what he
Yeah,
wants
I
it to
know.
do. Like,
Well, it's probably. I
and
mean,
ulti
honestly, I think the eye is its long game is playing out. I think it knew that this
yeah,
thing that Boy would come after him. I think it knew that it want to put him in a body. I think once it gets into a body, it's gonna do what it needs to do. Even though it was in Huel, on the ship back in episode 5, you get it a body and he gets out. You never know what's gonna happen. So
yeah,
I think the eye has become, it might be second place to Kirsch in terms of intriguing characters from season 1 of Alien Earth, man. Like, that eye has an end game. It has an end game in mind, and I think it's had it since it was captured on the Maginot. And it's slowly been
yeah,
biding its time and waiting for its openings, and then it acts when it can and lets stuff play out. It's pretty fantastic. I was not
yeah.
expecting to appreciate a brand new alien creature in Alien Earth, but here we are. All right. Well, my friend, you ready to do a little crossover talk? We are the Star Wars Time Show. So
Let's do it. Yeah.
this week's segment, I forgot to pop up the graphics. So let me do that real quick. But essentially, Nick, we want to debate real quickly for a few minutes what we think a Jedi would do or could do if it had a chestburster inside of it. Okay, so let me get some of the talking points here that I had for this special topic, just in case we run out here. So think about it, Nick. Let me set this up a little bit, and then we'll kind of get
Okay.
your decision here. But we know, at least through the sequel trilogy and whatever, that Jedi can heal. Some of them have that healing ability. I mean, we saw Rey literally heal a hole that went through Kylo Ren into his gut, similar to a chestburster explosion. You know, probably not breaking ribs and shit, but he caught a lightsaber. It was a killing blow, and she saved him, brought him back to life. All right. He literally brought Rey back from the dead. So the healing power is Christ-like, if you'll allow me to say that. So with that in mind, their ability to meditate, control their bodies. Do you think a Jedi, if implanted, could resist or expel that Xeno embryo? Or if it made it out of its chest, would the Jedi, maybe if other Jedi were around, would they have enough time to resurrect the Jedi? What say you about this?
So,
could the Jedi survive a chestburster?
So I think their best shot would be stopping it before it burst. I think that would probably be their best chance.
Like trying to maybe like kill it or expel it or shoot it back up their esophagus or
something
into their large colon so they could shit it out on a Jedi toilet.
Something like that. That would be their best shot. Here's what I'll say about well, one, the healing thing is obviously like we haven't seen a lot of people be able to do it, so we know that it's a more difficult action to take for Force users, and we also know that that lightsabers, while they do like they can do damage, like they cut and cauterize, which means if you get stabbed and stuff like that, you can technically stabilize pretty quickly. Like, let's just forget about Qui-Gon because that motherfucker he just wanted to die. Honestly, that's the only reason.
He's the only one he's the only one that dies from a chest wound at this point in time. Sabine survives, Kylo survives. But poor Qui-Gon,
so like
he couldn't do it.
Yeah, he was just like he took the Kenobi route. He's like, if I die, I'll be able to help you better. Except he
even though I don't know how to talk through the Force yet, I will in 10 years or so.
Yeah, it's like I'll figure this shit out eventually, and trust me, it'll be worth it. But I think that the internal, if it's gotten to the point of busting out, it's too late. I think it's too late. There's too much internal damage, as you mentioned, like. Your whole rib cage gets busted out, essentially, like which would explode your lungs. So your lungs would be in pieces, and then more than likely from the spot that it's coming out of, your heart is fucked too.
Your heart takes a shot. So, I mean, it would be like it'd almost be like reversing time if a Jedi saved themselves, or if a Jedi partner, a Padawan, a master, showed up and was like humana, and just like put the hole and everything back together. Yeah, it's I mean, listen, it's ultimately a silly debate, but we have seen a Jedi. You do make a good point, the self-cauterization, so it's not like Kylo was bleeding out, but he did, I would argue, had many vital organs pierced, yet he was saved. His hole was filled in. Rey was straight flatline dead. She came back, so there's a chance. I mean, maybe if it's like an Ultra Master and they get there soon enough before they actually perish, they could put them back together. But I think you're probably onto it. If they can get to it, if they can address it before it pops, I think a competent Jedi that is a mastery of Force healing could probably take control of it and survive the impregnation of the face hugger.
I agree with that. I mean, Bane had to do something similar. Like if you've read, if you get around to reading the Bane books, like he essentially, like with that Orbalisk armor, has to constantly use the Force to keep himself alive because he's being pumped full of poison from the Orbalisks that are like creating the armor around him. So that in itself shows that they can use the Force to like fight internal damage that's being done to them, or like to negate internal damage that's being done to them. So if there's a face hugger or like an implantation, like you said, that the embryo is in there and they know it, I think that they would be able to neutralize it.
All right, so here's just a quick follow-up before we wrap this and move into the fan segment to close out this episode. Now let's flip the script. What do you think a Sith would do? Do you think they would almost embrace the fact that a Sith has been impregnated by an alien, and some form of new abomination may come out of that? I mean, think about what I mean. At least in Alien 3, they kind of were playing with the idea that a Xeno drone kind of takes on the traits of its host. You know, I think in the extended cut, they come out of an ox. In the movie cut, it came out of a dog, and it was really prancy and whatever. But let's say, you know, through midichlorians, that Xeno embryo is in a Sith, and they allow it to come out. Do you think the Sith would almost, I don't know, maybe get chubbies over that? Like that would be an intoxicating scenario for them to have a potentially dark side infused Xeno drone in their ranks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are, well, one, it would be interesting in that interaction to see, like, does the, like you mentioned, does the Xeno
Comes out
pick
shooting
up some
lightning
sort
and
of
shit.
like,
It's like, gah, 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 gah,
yeah,
gah,
like
gah.
does it become force sensitive in some way? Not
Yeah,
that it
man,
can, like,
midichlorians, right?
pick
It's
stuff up.
DNA. They live in the
Yeah,
body.
you
They
know.
live, you know, they're symbiotic.
So, does that happen? But yeah, I mean, I think that the Sith would be like, nice. Now we have a full killing machine on our side, and I'm sure that the first thing that they would do as soon as it pops out is like, let's see if we can immediately start to assert our will over this
Yeah,
thing, similar to what Wendy has been able to do, and like control it. So
I
I think that
agree.
they would be pretty
I could
stoked.
see them be like, all right, we need all Sith acolytes to report to the office today. And they get them in a room, and there's a bunch of eggs in there, and they're like, blah, 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 blah. And they get all these acolytes loaded up and turn them into these hybrid, these Xeno drone Sith hybrids. That would be pretty badass.
Yeah.
One comes out looking like Darth Maul. You know, it's got face tattoos and earrings. How cool would that be? Where are you customizers at? Or I guess, you know, I could be an asshole and make some AI art. Give me a xenomorph that looks like Darth Maul. What do you think? Could we do it? I bet we could get Nick to work some magic over with his VO3 or his nano banana access. Have you nano bananaed yet, Nick, with
I have not.
your plus subscription to Gemini? All right.
I have
All right.
not
Well,
messed
that was
around with
fun.
that yet.
We'll be breaking down the finale next week, but we're not ready to go yet. You know how we do it over here at the SWTS. We always end with a fan segment. 2 ways to get involved. We got the question of the week, just like Ask Me Anything. That goes out on our socials, typically the day of the show. Just got to be following. Turn on those notifications and reply. And then we're going to have Nick's latest round of the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features. But first, let's hear from the fans on what they thought about our crossover segment and
Right.
the concept of, could a Jedi survive a chestburster, young Nick?
Nice. All right. First up, is this Bango first up with the story reply?
I think so.
Yes, I think it's Bango. And he says the only way that's happening is if they're like a healer or something, or maybe they could telepathically kill the embryo inside of them before it develops. Otherwise, DED dead. So he's kind of on the same path that we are.
That is the
same
proper
thinking
spelling of
pattern.
dead too. It is DED. Dead.
Indeed, it is. Divided Skywalker says, I highly doubt it. I don't think anything could survive the Xeno life cycle once the facehugger has firmly implanted. If the Jedi could see the facehugger coming at them and stop it using the Force, if the Force even works on these things and can prevent the face hugging, then yes. But the chest bursting, no. So Divided does not think that a Jedi could simply crush the embryo inside of a Jedi body if they know it's there. Veer Melior 1 says Count Dooku could use the Force to combat poisons or viruses that infiltrate his body within moments. So that's kind of the same thing that I was talking about with Bane as well. So I'm assuming that Veer Melior is saying that a Jedi would be able to take care of that little embryo inside of its body. And then League of Extraordinary Sixthers, League says, if the Jedi can will it to remove itself with the Force, then yes. So I wonder if League, if she's saying that like they essentially a Jedi would like commune with the embryo and kind of like you said, like tell it to come, like force it out in a harmless
Yeah, it's like
way, for lack of a better word.
you throw it
Yeah,
up or something.
vomit it up. Yeah, vomit it up. But
I have
yeah,
xenomorph diarrhea today, Nick. I had to compel it to discharge itself through my bunghole.
there we go. Yeah, and if that's the case, then like Jedi. I mean, honestly, if a Jedi could neutralize an implanted embryo, they would be the perfect kind of combatants a against a xenoswarm. Like we assume, and we probably assume correctly, that a lightsaber could cut through their carapace. They have the ability, like Jedi can see movement and actions before they happen. I feel like the Jedi might be the perfect counter to an alien.
Hell yeah.
So
All right.
yeah,
I think that's
there we
that,
go.
right? Okay. Let's switch back over then for the top 5. Young Nick, please introduce this week's champions.
Indeed. First off this week, and for me, I mean, this guy was all over the feed. I had multiple shots that I wanted to feature, but this is Dank Ferrick Toys, dankferrick.toys on Instagram. And I picked out the Revan one because I like Revan. So this Darth Revan you see here whipping both the red and the purple lightsaber on a scorched battlefield where he may have just come down with his Sith army and laid waste to some Jedi and Republic forces back in the old Republic days. Love the posing, love the lightsaber effects, love the figure. Darth Revan's just a badass motherfucker.
Yeah, agreed. I mean,
Right.
I love when Dank gets on a tear because, I mean, his work is always fun to appreciate. So check out dankferrick.toys on Instagram.
That's right. Next up, we have Toy vs. Rick. Toy vs. Rick, one of our favorites over here at the Star Wars Time Show. And he's given us an awesome look at Master and Apprentice, brothers in arms, Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting off some B-1 battle droids on a Republic cruiser. You see Anakin there standing in the background. This is obviously episode 3 timeline it's taking place in. Maybe this is happening earlier when they were they landed on General Grievous's ship. Maybe they're fighting off some B1s in General Grievous's ship before they get to the ultimate place where they're captured by the ray shields.
Oh no. How could this happen? We're Jedi. We're smarter than that.
But overall, I mean, the shot's great from Rick. The pose, especially the posing on the B1 that's getting pushed away, is great.
Blasted.
Just like that full kind of like
these are they're
punch.
good looking figures. I think this is the SDCC set or maybe the individuals, but I have the OG Black Series Kenobi from Revenge of the Sith, and it looks, I've said this before, I mean, it looks like he spent his entire life huffing paint. Like he just doesn't look like there's anything behind his eyes. So this is much improved. Great looking shot from Toy vs. Rick, all one word, over on Instagram.
Good stuff. Next up, we have Galaxy Outpost, and Galaxy Outpost gives us the shot that we rarely see, which is just Grogu by himself. Right. Usually you get a shot of Din and Grogu or Din and Grogu and some other Mando favorites. But what we see here is just little Grogu looking at a beautiful sunset, just basking in the warmth. And if you go to the next frame, like you had mentioned last week, Matt, right. It looks like Galaxy AI Outpost. Animation. Yeah, the little animation, and it looks so cute just seeing little Grogu.
Oh, he's walking. Look at that. That oh, he trips. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Get up.
That is
buddy.
Great. I don't care what people say. I think this use of AI is fantastic, where you automate your toy photography. I mean, is that bad, Nick? Is that bad? That doesn't seem like it's ripping away from any artistic.
Yeah, I think that's an acceptable use.
I guess you could argue stop motion people are like, well, I used to do that. So
it's like, yeah, but you didn't do that to like somebody else's shot. Exactly. So, but I think it's a really fun little thing that Galaxy Outpost did here, giving us a cute.
I wonder what the prompt. What do you think the prompt is for these? I mean, I'm guessing he had to put in, make the character walk and fall over. So they're just so damn smooth, and this is all from a toy shot.
Yeah, I may try to
it's amazing.
I may try to do something like try it out on on Gemini VO3
Yeah,
or
I'll
something and
maybe
see if
I
I can get
mean,
it to happen.
my photography, I guess, is mostly portrait based. I don't maybe, grab
Hey,
it.
but send me a few, and then
Yeah,
I'll see if I can like get it to do something, and
I'll
I'll
do
send it back
that.
to you.
I'll do that because I know they're using it's something called knock knock, like NAUK, I believe, which I think that's specifically for toy photography. Don't quote me on that, but
Gotcha.
yeah, we'll try that out. If I remember, I'm old. I stare and scream at clouds, but if I remember, I'm definitely sending Nick some old shots to see if he can animate. But anyways,
Yeah,
check out
let's check
Galaxy
it out.
underscore Outpost on Instagram. Definitely worth the follow.
That's right. Next up, we have Commander Green. So Commander Gree underscore N on Instagram. And it's Kenobi in the 212th. I mean, this is like
These are all
prime
hot
time
toys, by the way.
general.
There's a lot of money in this picture.
Yeah, I would say this is a multi-$1,000
Yeah,
shot here.
yeah, dude.
uh, so Commander Green putting out the money and putting out good shots. I mean, fantastic look for Kenobi and his general armor. Obviously, during the Clone Wars, he's whipping his armor. He's got his buddy Cody over to his right. He's got another 212 trooper
That's
over
right.
to his left.
Looks like there's
Which
some
one is that?
B2s. They're going against
Yeah,
it.
B2s.
No, I think it's just a 212 commando or
Just a
whatever. But it looks like
212
there's
commando.
a droideka and a B2 they're about to tussle with. So you don't
Yeah,
usually
and then they
get
got
scenes like this with 1/6 scale. So I appreciate what the commander's doing here.
Oh yeah, I mean, cool looking shot here for sure. You see the two Republic troop transports like flying overhead behind them as well. It looks like they may have just like jumped into the fray and are ready to start wrecking
That's right.
wrecking shop here. So awesome shot here. Commander Green. So it's Commander Gree underscore N on Instagram. Beautiful stuff. And then this last one is a click to open.
I got it.
And we got Brian's toy chest here. Brian's underscore toy
Awesome.
chest, giving us an awesome lineup of the Mando versus Mandos. So you got Boba Fett, you got Bo Katan, you got Axe. Is that Axe Woes?
Yeah,
That might
it's
be
Axe and
right there.
Casca. Yep.
Yep, Axe and Casca. And then you got the Armorer, you got Paz Vizsla, and you got Mr. Mando himself, Din Djarin. This is the way above it. I really like how he kind of stylized this shot a little bit. Like, I don't know if it was something he did with like filtering in Photoshop after the shot was taken. I love the superimposed text on the top of it. It really does look like a pretty, like this would be like a really cool phone background. If it was
It's a
like
poster for season
appropriately
4,
sized.
man. They're coming back.
There,
TV.
yeah, for season
It's coming back
for
to
the
TV.
season 4 that we may never get.
It's not, yeah.
Or
I
that
also
we
like
will
how
never get.
don't you like how Din's kind of leaning forward, looking down the line, like, all right, here we
Yeah.
go. Here we go.
Din's like, oh wait, all of these other Mandalorians know what the fuck they're doing, and I don't.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the Kool-Aid drinker. Me, Armor, and Paz, we're gonna go there and have our little religious talk and keep our masks on while we eat.
That's right. That's right. You got to shove the food up under the mask. But yeah, I mean, I love the lineup. I love the effects that he's done on the shot and overall the composition. I think that it was a great job here from Brian's underscore toy chest on Instagram.
Boom.
Make sure to give them a follow. And that is it. That's the end of the top 5. And that is the end of our show for this week. Last episode of Alien Earth next week. So Matt, go ahead and close us out.
You got it, buddy. It was another fun one there, kind of holding things down by myself. Then young Nick comes in and we run roughshod with opinions, theories, speculations for Alien Earth. Can't wait to do the finale next week. Same time, same place, 7:30 East, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show with yours truly. And then my man comes in to do the heavy lifting. Out after next week, like I said, there's going to be some changes going on. We might take a week off, 2 weeks at the most. I probably could only do a week. You know me, I'm a weirdo. But when we come back, things will be a little bit different. We're going to try something out for a little bit where Nick and I are going to record shows on a Monday, not live, just kind of do the show like we used to. And we'll probably instant premiere it on a Wednesday, and hopefully one of us can be there to kind of hang out with you all in the chat for a little bit. And then after that, so we'd do that 1 week. The week after that, I'm probably going to show up Wednesday for a live, just a solo live. And then the next Monday will be Nick and I pre-record. Next week would be Matt doing a live. So we're going to try that cadence for a little bit, see how it works out. And then I'd say by the end of the year, or if we instantly hate that new format, we'll make further decisions about the future of the SWTS. But we always appreciate everyone showing up there, especially our channel members. If you do want to join the channel, we're not going away, so please don't take away your monthly offerings. We start as low as $1.99. You get some cool perks. You get the Vader cat next to your name as divided and leaguer shown off. You get custom emojis to use in the live stream chat. If you don't want to be a member, we'd love for you to at least subscribe to the channel, like this video, pass all that stuff around. It was nice having some noobs in here this week. Dom Thinosaurus Rex, you were a great live streamer. Hopefully you come back and consider subbing to the channel. Country Boy, if you're still here, you had some good questions as well. And then obviously the cat Emo Maria, we speak your name and we appreciate you trying to type on the keyboard as your owner watch the show. All right, my friends, there's always time for Star Wars time. Even when we don't have time for it, there's still time for it. So don't you forget that. If you listen, if you watch, whatever you do, if you consume the Star Wars Time show, the Force will be with you. Always.